Today on the channel we're going to replace the pickups in my metallic red Squier Telecaster. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at replacing pickups in a Telecaster. This is a Squier Telecaster. It was customized a little bit. As you can see, the headstock on this thing was painted to kind of match the body. I did not do this. This is something I picked up used at a very, very good price. The back of this thing is metallic red as well. Got the Squier neck plate on it, and on the back of the headstock we've got these fender tuners. So somebody's put some fender tuners on this thing, so that's cool. Serial number indicates it's made in Indonesia. This Telecaster is really clean. It's in great shape. Paid about 180 bucks for this thing used. You know me, I'm always looking for a deal. So I snagged this thing when I saw it. I'm a sucker for anything that's got sparkles. Put sparkles on it, man, I'm going to buy it pretty much if the price is right. So I'm kind of curious. These might be really nice pickups. I'm going to take the pick guard off of this thing and this bridge piece. And then I've got these fender pickups. This one's labeled 52. Not really sure what these things are, but these are 52 pickups. It's a 52 pickup, man. All right, and we're gonna put these in here. So let's open this thing up together. Looks like they put some Graphtec saddles on here. These things are definitely an upgrade. They put better tuners on it. So I'm gonna take this off, and we're gonna look at these pickups. So if these are good pickups, I may just leave it alone. But we'll take a look at it anyway, and if they need to be replaced, we're gonna solder those in and make it happen. So first things first, what we have to do, underneath these saddles, you'll see there's screws, right? So these screws have to come out, and they're a little tricky to get out. So what you want to do is take the strings off the guitar completely, and then you got to spin these saddles around so you can access these screws. And once you get the screws out, you can take this thing off. So you can see there's one screw back there that you got to get to. There may be more. Looks like it's just this one, there, and then these right here. And then you can get this pickup out. And then obviously this neck pickup's got to come out when we take off the pick guard. So I'm going to take the strings off and the pick guard, and we'll open it up and see what these pickups are. Alright, so we got the neck cleaned up, the frets polished a little bit. Things look a little bit nicer. And I've got all the screws out of this. So let's raise up the pick guard. Check out that pick guard. Pickguards.com. WD pick guards. That's pretty cool, man. That's a nice looking guard. Okay, so this thing has been hard screwed into the body of the guitar. So I'm thinking we have had some custom work here. Perhaps. Let's take a look. If the bottom of this pickup has a ceramic magnet, then we know this was a Squier pickup. All right, this one has been kind of jerry-rigged. This has definitely been replaced. So there is a SKU number on the bottom of this, which I need to look up. I'm going to look this up on my computer. So there's a number on it. So I need to look up this number and see what that is. All right. Maybe a waste of time to drop new pickups. Now this one also has been replaced. DP418 SKU. And they have taped these together, so kind of a chop job on it. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a pause while I research these pickup numbers on Google, and we'll come back with the findings. All right, so what we found out was the pickups in this guitar have been upgraded. They're DiMarzios. They're DiMarzio Area Ts. These sold, I think, for about $100 a piece. Several years ago, there was a set on Reverb for $115 that sold. Don't really see any similar items right now as a set. Looks like there are. There's a set right now on there for $99. Well, just one pickup, $99. So they're probably really nice pickups. Now these, from what I've researched, these look like Lawler 52s. These are a little bit pricier pickup, and these have these Lawlers here, what it looks like online. They're a little bit higher end. They've got the cloth wire and supposed to be wired to the exact specs of a 52. That's kind of what I want to go for. I'm not a huge DiMarzio fan, so we're going to take this panel off here. Let's take a look and see. Let's see what they did with this, the internals here. I'm not thinking they did anything here, because these guys didn't use a soldering gun to wire these in. They just cut the wires from this. And yeah, here we've got the Squier. These are Squier pots, small pots, and that Asian three-way switch. All right, so yeah, it's a three-way switch. Okay, so what they've done is they've just gone in and wired it straight like this. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this easy. Normally I would just go straight up and wire it, but I'm probably, just for interest of time and to test these out to see what they sound like, I think I'm just going to solder them straight to these cables. Do a solder like they did. And because these Lawlers were used when I got them, and I'm not sure if they even work. So I may just wire them directly in, take a shot at it. Let me see if this cable's long enough. Yeah, I think I got enough lead wire. I definitely do. I'll solder it correctly. Cool. So let's get these things ready to go. All right, we got a little bit of a different camera angle here so we can kind of see what's going on. First thing we got to do is take this pickup. Whoops, can't see what I'm doing. Take this pickup out of the little bridge assembly here, the bridge. So you just simply do that by undoing these 3 screws. Okay. It drops it down. Finally it'll give up the ghost, drop out of there. Really about the hardest thing in doing this is getting the strings off of it and getting these screws out of the bridge so you can get to the sucker. And that one's almost out. Cool. When you pull these out, if you're missing a spring or a screw, always look on your pickups, because these magnets will normally gather all your springs and stuff on the bottom of it. Looks like there was only one spring in there that I see, unless it fell out and I didn't see it. Okay, so got that taken out. Easy peasy. My soldering iron is heating up. So what we're going to do now, I love these vintage pickups. They come with these really nice, really nice screws and these rubber things that make it really nice when you go to you know, put them in. It's a lot easier than the springs. Kind of spoils you when you got these rubber pieces versus springs, because they're just so handy. All right, so while the soldering iron is heating up, let's line this up. The thing has 3 holes for screws, and that's how it goes in like that. See? So one reason I said it spoils you when you got these rubber gaskets is you put the screw in like that, and then you can just put this little rubber piece on this thing like so, and then your screw doesn't come out. You're not chasing it all over the carpet, you know, losing stuff. Saves time. I don't know why they don't do this with all single coil pickups. It's probably a little more expensive, but it seems like you get it on the boutique cork sniffer kind of stuff, right? So now when you go to put this thing on, you just line it up like so, right? And they're all standardized. All these Telecaster pickups are standardized. The hole patterns are exactly the same, you know. Now one thing that sucks, this is like the 50s. I just noticed these screws are flathead screws, so I've got to get me a flathead screwdriver. I guess Phillips head screwdrivers weren't invented back in the 50s, which is kind of crazy to think about when you know that they used flatheads, but I guess if you're going to be a purist, that's what you want. Nothing, no big deal, right? Somebody in the comments type below, you know, when were Phillips screws invented? I could be wrong, man. Maybe they were invented at the same time, but it seems like on all the vintage stuff that I work on, or replicas of vintage, it's always these straight screws. And any of the old Silvertone guitars and Dan Electros and stuff I work on, they're flathead screws. Kind of sucks. I mean, not gonna lie, kind of sucks. All right, so we got it installed. Later on, we can get it in and adjust the height as we want to, as we see fit. It's really not a major deal. All right, so now this is yellow and black. Now what the prior installer has done is they've taped off. This is a 4-conductor. They've taped off the unusable wires, and they've just got the yellow and the black going to the hot here and the ground. So if we trace back the yellow and the black to this Asian switch, the yellow one's going to be on this second lug. Let me get this black cable out of the way so I don't burn it, right? So here we're gonna get this yellow one off. All right, so easy peasy. And then this black one should be right on top of the pot. That just grounds it to the pot, and that's it right here. It's grounded. All these wires that are on this thing are grounded right on. I'm halfway tempted just to cut this one off, because sometimes this solder on top of these pots, sometimes they're just so hard to get off. I don't know, what the deal is. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get this. I'm going to take off my microphone real quick. I'm going to grab my. Oh, I got it. I was going to go grab my cutters. I'm a little impatient when it comes to soldering sometimes, which, as a tech, that's not really a great trait, but, I'm just going to cut this one off. All right, so we're just going to take this thing off. Easy peasy. There we go. What sucks is they, when they installed this, now they only have like this small lead wire on here, That's not a good idea. But I'm not going to complain, because I've done some really stupid stuff. I do it all the time. We're human. So here's your ground, this black one, and that goes to that second lug. So you can't see it, but there's a hole that's pre-drilled on these bodies that goes straight through to the section in here, the chamber. And you just get it through, right? And then you gotta grab them like so, reach in there, pull them through. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pretend like this thing is already installed. I'm just going to put it right in. Oops, stupid me, got it backwards. I'm looking at these wires, not looking at the bridge. All right, so that just looks good. All right, so here's where the magic happens, for lack of a better term. We're going to wind up just wiring this right here on this second one where it came off of right there. It was wired right on this one. So here we go. Hold it for a few seconds. It's stuck. Now I'm gonna just back it up with a little bit of solder, like so. Awesome sauce. Cool. Here's the lead from the neck pickup, okay? So if we follow this and we wiggle it a little bit, we'll see there's the lead for the neck, and it's going to be attached to the volume pot like that. Kerblamo, going to cut this, snip it, and we're going to do this. Now you may be asking yourself, why didn't I attach the ground? Because I'm going to attach those two together at the same time. All right, we're going to pull out this one. Once again, these guys have gone in and put like 1,000,000 tons of electrical tape. So when I or someone else tries to reuse these pickups, I've got very little lead wire to work with. Kind of sucks. So, not going to worry about it. Hopefully these pickups work. Never really seen a situation where pickups died. I've bought some before, bought a couple pickups that just came dead out of the box, but it's unlikely to have a set of boutique pickups like this that aren't gonna work. You can't really kill a pickup, man. They're like hard to kill. All right, so here's the white wire. If you remember correctly, we got it off that lug. It's always a good idea to take pictures of this stuff with your cell phone. That way, if you forget, because I'm already second guessing myself where this stuff goes, just because I'm like that. I'm kind of an idiot when it comes to remembering these things. All right. And it came off, so let me just touch it again. It's always best not to blow on the solder. You want to let it, it's really bright chrome colored when it's still really hot, and when you see it get like a hazy color, that means it's cooling off, and then it's pretty solid, man. Pretty solid at that point. All right, so here's our ground wires right here. So typically what I do, this one's got a little bit of solder left on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of marry these two together just for fun, just so they stay together. And then I'm going to pick me a place on this pot where I want to place it. I'm not going to stick it on the original solder because a lot of times that original solder is, for whatever reason, man, it's really hard to get to melt. Like once it's on some of these pots. So I'm going to scratch this a little bit. Sometimes if you scuff up these pots with a screwdriver or a knife, you get yourself a section on there that's bare, so there's no oils and crap on it. Drop you a dollop of solder like so. It's still kind of cooking, and now touch your gun to it. It kind of gets all liquefied, and all right, let it turn kind of a hazy color. Just for good measure, and drop a little dollop on top of these wires. And this install should be done. That should be it. So very carefully lift your stuff up and try to tuck it in there. If you don't solder it good, or even if you do solder it good, a lot of times the solder will pop off. You go to plug it in, you'll get strings on it. Nothing works. You're like, what the hell? Then you got to unstring it and stuff. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to get my Fender Champ over here, and we're going to plug this in. I'm going to tap on these with a screwdriver in each position, turn the volume up and down, turn the tone up and down, make sure they're responding the way that they should. If they are, then I'll fasten the screws back on here, and I'll screw this back on, and we'll put strings on it and give it a demo. So let me get my Champ ready to go, and we'll test it out. Fingers crossed, we got it. Okay, we've got the Fender Champ set up. It's off camera, but I'll turn it loud enough where we'll be able to hear if we're getting something out of it. That jack is a little loose. I just noticed I need to tighten that bolt up that's on there, that nut. All right, gonna turn on the Champ. This thing's a tube amp, so it takes about 10 seconds for it to warm up. Okay, turn the volume down, and then let's go bridge pickup first. So here's the moment of truth. I can embarrass myself on camera if it doesn't work. So, all right, this one's working. All right, so now this one's not working. Okay, so maybe some solder came off of it. So we're gonna check and see what's wrong with this one. The tone is working on this one. The volume's working on this one. Nothing. All right, so let's open it back up and take a look and see. Let's see what we can figure out. All right, let me plug my soldering iron back in. Maybe I soldered this point on the wrong one. It's possible. It's possible I soldered it on the wrong point. Paying attention to trying to video everything, and all right, so the ground looks good. The ground looks good. This one is on the third. Maybe I should have been on the third lug. Maybe I remembered wrong when I took it off. Could be it should have been on the third. Now see, guys, that's why I say take pictures of this stuff. If you take pictures of it, you're not going to mess it up. And I don't. These Chinese switches, they can mess me up. I'm used to the Fender switches, man. I never get used to these Chinese switches. They just seem weird to me. I like the ones with the lugs on each side, if you know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's give this a whirl. We'll plug the Champ back in. It sucks when your eyes get bad too, because when your eyes start getting bad, you can't see stuff. All right, so let's see. My amp on? Yep, amp is on. Nothing. What if this is a dead pickup? Unusual. All right, let's jiggle some stuff. It was working on the old pickups. Let's see what we got here. Doesn't sound too good. All right. Let's get this baby back in here. Cool. So hey, it was 50-50. We kind of got 152 in there. We got this one. So we'll mount that to the body of the guitar, and we'll test it out like this. Cool. All right. So this goes here. Let that solder get nice and gray. Here's our ground wire. And we'll put it over here on the pot. And then we'll kind of touch it up a little bit here, like so. All right, awesome. Cool. Now let's hope she behaves now that I got her soldered in for good and mounted in that that bridge. Knowing my luck now, it'll probably won't go. Probably won't work now that we got it ready to install. So I got the champ plugged in. And I got that pickup. All right, all is good. So we're ready to put this back together. All right, so carefully place that down in there. All righty. Now we know that's going to work. So here's the screws that we took out originally for these. Always keep good track of the screws that you put in and which ones go where. I usually have a little bit of a ashtray or a container or something that I put these in, but for tonight I've just got them laying next to me on this mat. Okay, cool. All right, so it looks like they just had this thing kind of balanced in there on these rubber things. They got these little rubber guys, and they had these screws holding it in place in the pick guard. So I'm going to do that. That's going to take a minute to balance it in there, I'm sure. So I'll probably turn the camera off while I do this, just so I can get it, just to get it where it needs to be. That pick guard looks pretty fragile, so they probably didn't want to screw holes in it when it was made, that custom pick guard, so they just wanted this to be real clean and stick through this pick guard rather than try to drill holes in that mirror. It would fracture like crazy, so they got these little rubber spacers right here that they put on it. They didn't actually drill a hole into the body of the guitar when they mounted this pickup in there, which I think is kind of weird, but I'm gonna have to figure something out because the holes in this one are a little bit smaller than the holes here. So I'll get that mounted in the body and then we'll get this pick guard back on. So let me take care of that real quick, then we'll string it up and we'll do a sound check. All right, a few minutes later, got this thing in here with the little rubber spacers, got it screwed into the body just slightly. This royally sucked because you can't mount this thing in this pickup, so you had to get these spacers under there that were provided with it and then move this thing just perfectly under the pick guard like that. So that kind of stunk. I have not installed a mirror guard on a Telecaster before. They kind of make me nervous. Mirror guards are very, very fragile, or just these plastic ones. If you over tighten screws on them, you're liable to crack it, you know, and it's just, they look great, man, but stuff like that makes you nervous. So here we are putting this back together. One bad thing, there's not really a way to raise or lower this thing up. It sort of is what it is for height. I guess I could eventually, you know, I could put a piece of foam under it, but it's really not that easy when you're, the way that they got this set up with this specialty guard you know, and not any way to have the pickup hold itself in place. That's kind of tough when you got to balance it in place and hope for the best when you put the guard back on it. Sure does look nice though, I think. I don't know what y'all think of this, but I think it's pretty. I think it's really nice. All right, so then we just gotta put these 5 screws back in here, okay? So we'll take a look at this one first. This screw, the 5th screw is under this. Wish this didn't have to be that way, but it makes it so much more stable and firm when it fits on the body of the guitar. These screws are real long too, so they're not messing around when it comes to stability. They want it to be deep and, you know, in the body here and very secure. So we'll do this one first. This one's the hard one, the harder one to get because of these saddles. I'm bummed out a little bit. You know, I was wanting that 52 in there. I really wanted to hear what that 52 sounded like. And that's not going to happen. So we got this DiMarzio in there, and that's a good pickup according to reviews. I was taking a look at it online, so certainly better than the Squier pickup. Maybe I'll grow to love it. Nothing against DiMarzio really. I prefer Fender pickups and bare knuckles. Lawlers are good. Seymour Duncan. DiMarzio has always kind of been my last choice. I always associate DiMarzio with metal. Yeah, I guess just because of Satriani and Steve Vai. All the shred guys were such DiMarzio fanatics. And then you got the Super Distortion. I know they make lots of different pickups than that. I guess it's just perception. Love those saddles. Those saddles are really cool. This pickup may be a little bit on the high side. So we're gonna bring it down a little bit. It might be on the high side, just a tad. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna throw some strings on this baby and we're gonna check it out. I can't wait to hear it. Okay, so we got her all put back together again and strung up, ready to play. This was a good video because we actually got to witness a bad Telecaster pickup. Made me second guess my wiring. We tested the other pickup out and it worked. So now we've got a DiMarzio Area T in the bridge and we've got a Lawler 52 in the neck. So let's check out what these two sound like together. bye.